Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We are restoring a Triumph Rocket 3 Classic that's been seemingly crash damaged or dropped on both sides. Now, when I bought the bike, I underestimated the amount of things that were broken, which invariably always happens with a crash bike. There's always more little brackets and little bolts and things which are damaged or bent than you suspect. Now, we have got some good news. The gear lever, which in the last video was almost mangled beyond recognition, has been taken to a local metal fabricator. It's now been restored to original condition. Absolutely incredible job. So I will give this guy credit. It's called Ash. It's this workshop just outside Bude. He turned this around for me in 2 days and I'm blown away. He even polished it for me. What a legend. So thank you very much, Ash, for fixing that. That saved me a fair whack. I think these are about 130, 150. He bent it back. Oh, I'm just stoked he's done it. So that's the good news. The bad news is that the whole assembly for the foot controls on the right hand side of the bike was also damaged. I thought it was limited just to the footboard. It wasn't. The whole assembly has been tilted upwards and causing the flanges on the bracket to bend and in some cases snap. So I can't afford a new one of those. They're about 160 or 190, so they're expensive. So I've taken it to Ash. Let's see if he can work his magic and fix the assembly. Isn't it nice to have something original on the bike repaired to original standard and put back on the bike, rather than just hammering the credit card, buying new, and then all of this metal goes in the bin. And we're also supporting the local economy by basically taking parts to be repaired. It's such a good thing to do. Right, that's repair work. I also have some service items to do. I'm not looking forward to this job at all. This is fork seals. So remember I last did fork seals on a Rocket 3. I ended up doing them twice because I got confused over which way round the seals went in. And I thought that the chamfered edge went in first, but I put them in, then reassembled the whole bloody thing, and they leaked oil because I put the fork seals in the wrong way around. Now I think it's writing side down. I've looked back at my old videos, but I didn't show a close-up of it, so I'm sort of like staring, trying to see which way they went in. And people say, oh, it's the spring side. It's the side with the, let me just try and show you. The side with the spring. Okay, look at these fork seals. Springs on both sides. So I'm going to have a go at fitting them, and I'm really hopeful I put them in the right way. Well, that was good timing. I just stopped the video because the post lady came, and we'll just open this parcel because I think what it is. Da-da! The main problem with doing forks on a Rocket 3 is the bloody thing weighs 360 kilos and you've got to get it up in the air, or at least the front wheel up in the air, in order to remove the forks from the bike. Now, unless you're world's strongest man, you're not going to be able to do that without some kind of lifting machinery. Last time I used an engine crane, I put the straps around the top fork clamp and then I hoisted the front end up enough to take everything apart. The downside with that approach is the bars had to be moved out of the way, all the gauges had to come off. It was a bit of a faff, and it wasn't totally stable. This time I'm using a bike lift. Now this isn't a lift with a platform, this is a lift that goes under the engine and hopefully will suspend the bike in the air. The obvious question is, why is there shiny ribbons on Sean's bike lift? That's because this was a present from my mum and dad last year. Dad came up with the idea, mum did the decoration. I'm going to leave it on, it's part of the charm, and I'll keep it in for the video. It's rated for 450 kilos, the Rocket weighs 360. So I'm going to tighten up all the bolts, get it under there and see if the whole bike goes up in the air with this lift. Right, that is the nut and bolts assembly of the crane. Now we've got these weird platforms. What do they do? So I assume that goes in like that somehow. Oh, hello. It's amazing how much power you can get from a hydraulic jack, isn't it? Okay, so quick rundown. I've got the lift set up. The platform is under there with the flat sump plate of the Rocket 3, separated by a couple of sheets of cardboard just to help. And then that's the fork. Just look around there. You see that line there with the oil? So that's what we're going to sort out. And then you see even the outer seal's got a couple of cracks. But that's wet with oil, right? So that does need to be done. Now, coming around to the other side, what I'm going to do is lift the bike and then just put blocks of wood under the side stand. It can't tip to the side because the side stand will prevent it from doing that, because there isn't really anywhere with the size of the Rocket to put those little clamp things. I did order a 19mm hex, but it hasn't arrived in time, so I'll just have to use the old adjustable spanner here. There you go. Oh. Wheel out. Slowly, slowly. When the fork leg is still clamped, this is the time just to start cracking off the top cover there, because if you do that when it's off the bike, it'll be a lot harder. Right, it's time to remove fork legs. Now, there's two Allen bolts, or two sets of Allen bolts. You've got one which is an 8 at the top, and then two 6s at the bottom. I don't know why they mix and match the sizes, makes things a little bit more annoying, but essentially you just crack these off and the fork should be possible to remove. Alright, let's try these two. Pro tip, I always prefer these little hex sockets. It's about £6 or £7 for each of these, but it's so much easier than faffing with Allen keys. Yeah, see, you want to get that in there, and you don't want to be faffing, rounding things off by using improper tools. Yeah, there you go. And there's one fork removed from Rocket 3. Need to drain the fork tubes of oil, so millimeter socket at the top. Just as easy to hold that still, isn't it? There you go. See the fork innards. Now what I tend to do is just tip it out like that. The fork oil looks like new, really, really clean. And then you're best off to leave this. You could probably reuse that fork oil, to be honest, but never mind, I have got new stuff prepared. Fork legs have been drained, and next I'm going to explain to you the step I took. So essentially you've got the bottom part of the leg, the larger outer diameter tube, and then the inner mechanism. Now this piece here, which I'm just tracking along with the camera with the spring attached to it, that is held inside the fork. It's got a threaded recess there, and that bolt, you can see, comes in here, and the mechanism goes in at the top, and they meet, and that little washer keeps the oil from coming out. So to get that out, extension bar, 10mm hex socket, and I actually used the impact driver and just went bang, 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 bang until it shook the bolt loose. Bolt fell out the bottom, and then this assembly came out the top. Okay, so now you've got inner and outer. Should just pull them apart, like so. And now you can put this on the workbench, which I'll clamp down and start working to remove the seal on the inside of here. Put that back down. Right, what you can see there, that is the outer dust seal, which should just pop out. He says. I'm not going to play ball, is it? Okay, so we'll need a very fine screwdriver. Remember, this is just the dust seal. This isn't actually the fork itself, the fork seal itself. Okay, so dust seal removed. That one actually doesn't look too bad, a few little cracks in it. Now this is the important bit. This is the inner fork seal, and this is a little circlip of a spring which goes around, and when the seal is in, the spring makes sure it remains seated. So let me get a little pry. Okay, so spring's removed. Now I've got to work on the seal itself. Just be careful you don't mar or scratch the inner surfaces of this tube, because then the seal won't seat correctly. So I'm just going to put this little pry in here, and I'm just going to pull towards me, so therefore the spiky bit is not hopefully going to be touching. There's the spring. So we've got writing side down on this seal. Okay, everything you just saw, totally disregard, because that is not the right way to get the seal out. The right way is just to go in behind it and gently, without scratching or scoring the surface, you see? Twist the screwdriver, and I can actually see now I've got a gap. If my blade of my screwdriver is next to the inner surface here, and it isn't. So I'll go around this side, just do the same thing. See that? Slowly wants to come out. Oh. There you go. And now I might be able to pop the seal out. Let's investigate which way round it is. This is the important part. So you've got the writing down, and the chamfered bit there, which hopefully you can see, faces down. Right, there you go, that solves it. Go. No damage, which is great. And you can see again, the writing is on the side facing down, and the chamfered edge is on the side facing down. Okay. Okay, so let's take this fork inner leg and the new seal, which will go the correct way. Just slip that over the top. Oh, I forgot the dust cover. First, you want to put the dust cover over. Next, fork seal, making sure right inside down. That's the side that goes up. Slide this in here. Right, that's seated, but we need to use a special tool to ram it home. And the tool is this fork seal driver kit. Basically does what it says on the tin. Okay, I think that's correctly seated. You can see a space all the way round for the circlip, so right, you would not believe this if I told you. The last bolt of the entire job, which is this little bolt here, attaching the trim piece onto the front there, sheared off. So I'm left with a head and the rest of it, which is tucked up inside the fork leg, which will have to be drilled out. The last bolt of the entire process is that, and it's sheared.